Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Today we welcome Loz from While She Sleeps to the channel. How are you doing today, Loz?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. We're here to talk about your brand new album, Self Hell, which is out March 29th via Spinefarm Records. It's an interesting choice for the title of the album, plus one of the songs also. What was the reasonings behind going with that for the title of the album?
So, I don't know how to describe this. So, as a band, we've been through a lot. It's been the
Mm-hmm.
same lineup since 2009, and I think that in the same way as a family does, or what we've been through as individuals, navigating through life can be quite tough sometimes. We were in the studio talking about how there seems to be a lot more people um, looking after themselves. Being cautious about their mental health and taking, not always taking the trashy option, if you like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we were talking a lot about self help, and what was really cool for me. I started, just trying to jot things down, and I wrote out the word self help. And before I got to self help, I got to self hell, and that was really kind of poetic to me because I feel like before you can get to self help, you have to recognize or go through maybe a self hell. So as simple as that was, I was kind of like that. There's something quite nice in there, and we
Yeah.
all agree. And I think it can be quite tough sometimes to summarize an album in a few words or a sentence that is the title. But as soon as I heard that, as soon as we heard that, it just spoke to us.
Mm-hmm.
And from that day on, it was just kind of like, yeah, the album is going to be called Self Hell. And I think it's just quite representative of how life can be sometimes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you because we've all been through some sort of trauma or turmoil in our lives that lead us down that road, and then for me personally, music is a huge help in that to pull us out and also to connect us because it shows you're not alone in what you're feeling. So, no, I appreciate you guys, choosing that for the title. You've had 3 singles out so far. How have you found the response from your fan base, but also from people that might just be discovering your band today?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about the singles that we've put out, it has sort of gained a lot of traction from people online that haven't heard our band.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was definitely a conscious effort with the first single, Self Hell, to ruffle a few feathers. You know what I mean? I think that
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
first when you first release him from a new record, it's kind of like it might be the biggest splash that you get. So you want people to sort of sit up, take notice, and discuss what they're hearing. And I think for us, Self Hell is more representative of the fun we're having as a live band on stage now. So it felt right, and I think that it did. There were a lot of people questioning the future of our band, and what we're going to sound like, and what's to come in the album. So for me, that was perfect. Um, and then not to scare everybody off completely, we thought we'd drop down with Alex from Malev as the guest, just because that
Mm-hmm.
felt like, it felt like a more sort of metalcore song, more of a sort of grat track with the video. Um, and then, of course, To the Flowers, which for us as a band, I think I think our fan base really responds well to songs like that evoke a lot of emotion, and they can feel that it's come from somewhere deeper or darker. And so for us, it made perfect sense to have that out as the third single, and also create a short film for it with the feeling
Yeah.
of the song. That also just made perfect sense. So I think the singles have been chosen to sort of entice people to be engaging, to beg the question of what the out record's going to sound like. But then also, I think that the album um, goes everywhere. I think sometimes there's some drum and bass in there. Sometimes there's a bit more punk rock. There's also, to me, what feels like early emo. There's also a bit
Mm-hmm.
of hardcore, a bit of straight up metal. So
Yeah, I was listening to it while I was getting ready this morning, and I love how there's like so many different genres and influences. I mean, as somebody who did grow up in England myself, I can definitely hear those like 90s, early 2000s, like poppy, dancey, trance, EDM,
yeah,
synthy kind of stuff,
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what made you guys draw like inspirations from those and put those into your songs?
I think they've kind of always been there, not
Yeah.
necessarily in our music, but like stuff that we have, as sort of inspirations or things that we listened to when we were younger, or even just nostalgic feelings. Like to a lot of people with this new record, it might not feel like it, but for me, it's got like a bit of a Britpop element to some of the songs. Like it feels
Yeah.
like say like a. I've been saying it's a bit like Brit mosh. Um, but yeah, it's just we're having fun in the studio. We have sort of like a newfound confidence in the band that we are, and I think that's down to playing bigger shows, selling out Alexandra Palace in London. It
Mm-hmm.
all. I think for many years we felt like an underdog, and I think we'll always play like we're underdogs because that's what fuels the fire in a live sense. But
Right.
I feel like with things like the Sleep Society and the growing confidence through our live shows and working together as a band, it's just allowing us to be a bit more free in the studio. And I think that's why you're sort of seeing a bit of a shift, a bit of a change. But also, I think it still sounds like While She Sleeps. I think the way that we
Yeah.
play, the way John Long plays guitar, the way that we sing doesn't really sound like anybody else out there anyway. And that was always the goal, to be an individual sounding band. So I think it all helps. And hopefully if this record connects, the way that we think it will, then yeah, who knows what the next record is going to sound like, and where we go from there. But it's exciting for sure. I hope everybody really enjoys it.
No, yeah. So I listened to it last night and then I had to put it on again this morning just because I really love the flow of it and how you've chosen to sequence the tracks from beginning to end. They just flow really well.
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys go about choosing that? Like, was it just something that just fell into place, or was it like a conscious decision that you guys made?
We come from an era of or a generation where you would listen to an album in full,
Yeah.
but there wasn't Spotify and streaming sites. And I remember being a kid and literally skateboarding down to my local record store, picking up albums like Limp Bizkit and Sum 41, and then just if it looked like something that I might enjoy, then I'd just buy it, and skate home, read through the whole booklet, listen to the album a couple of times back to back. And I think the flow of a record's very important, and I think that's why we put like some cool interludes in there, and almost like one of the interludes just feels like a time to reflect and a time to just have a breather and even meditate.
Mm-hmm.
So we try and create a bit of a landscape with the album and the artwork, and hopefully the landscapes that we create try and follow the emotions of the songs. So yeah, we come from a generation of that, so we try and make it so it's a collective a collective piece of music rather than just standalone singles. However, I do feel like it was quite tough to pick singles on this record because I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them sound like individual songs as much as they do flow. So it's been tough to pick the singles, but yeah, hopefully everyone listens to it as a full record.
Yeah, no, I can see why it was tough to pick the records, like the individual singles, just because, as you say, while it does flow, even if you just chose one to listen to, it still stands out by itself. So, I think that's super impressive on your guys' part to do that, because sometimes in albums, like you'll listen to the whole thing all the way through, and sometimes there's songs that are forgetful, but I don't feel like that's the case with your album. I feel like every single song packs a punch in a different way. So yeah, I think that's brilliant on your guys' part there.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm glad you're sort of hearing it like we do.
Yeah. What was the writing creative process like with this album, and has it changed much or evolved since you guys, of course, because you've been around quite a while?
Yeah. We're not the young bucks we used to be, maybe. No, we have been a band for a long time, and I think that the reason that you're seeing such a different sounds and energies coming out of certain songs is because we were quite aware this time in the studio that we wanted to give everybody a chance for their ideas to breathe. You know, like we all grew up in with a mutual love for metalcore, the early 2000s, bands like Killswitch and Darkest Hour and those sort of bands. But at the same time, we all listen to a lot of different stuff, you know, individually. So it's important for us now to sort of give everyone a chance to express themselves with the record, whether that's musically or lyrically. And I think that's just where we're at. You know, it was a really fun process this time. Like during previous albums, it's been a bit more of a slog, you know, to try and complete it, and you're recording for like 2-3 months straight. And with this one, it was a lot more easygoing, very open conversations, very enjoyable time. And I think that's why it's so diverse. We're giving each individual band member a chance to express themselves in certain areas and certain songs. And like I said, it goes from feeling like Britpop 1 minute to feeling like a bit of a hardcore band the next minute, or then, you know, there's some Radiohead vibes in there. You know, it's just great. And you know, I think people are more open to that nowadays. Like when I was younger, it was like I'm a metalhead and that's kind of it. But now people are like, well, I'll listen to pop sometimes, I'll listen to metal another day. Like, and I think that's what we've tried to reflect in the record as well. It's just what we are like as people, and sort of some of the influences that we have.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to go about it, because I mean, music is so diverse within itself that, like, why stick to just one thing when you can pull influences from everywhere and put that in and make it still, while she sleeps, sound, but, you know, just have that in there. I think that's great. You have a few features, of course, on that album. How did you go about choosing who you would feature on the songs?
I mean, we've worked a lot with featuring. I think that comes from like a hip hop kind of style where you know, everyone collabs with everyone and just has fun. So for us, you know, we never really take on features to help elevate a song. I feel like the only time we bring someone in is when it can bring a bit of a different dynamic, and you know, so we've chose some collaborators. How do you say that?
Collaborators? Yeah.
Collaborators. The record, one of them on Dope Sick being Finn from a band called Stone. As we've already talked about, like for me, the record at times feels very Britpop, and Stone are a band that are in that world. They have like a Britpop edge. The singer's got a great voice. And we just heard the band and really liked his style, and just sort of reached out and said, yo, you reckon you'd be up for coming to the studio? And he liked our band anyway, so that was really fun to do. And there's a funny story about that song, because I'd already written the verses for that song, and then Finn from the band came to the warehouse and did like a full day session. And by the end of it, we were going backwards and forwards for a while, and what Finn had written for the song was really great, but the lads from Sleeps kind of really already liked what I'd done. So I think that we are going to do like a second version of the song with all Finn's from Stone's vocals in there, so people can get an idea of the way we went with the song, and the way it could have gone and how different it might have been. I think that'd be quite fun to do. So we're going to do that at some point. Also, Alex from Malevolence is just like, we're good pals. They're a band from Sheffield. We like Alex's voice. We love that the band are on a tear at the moment. They're killing it. So that was kind of an easy one for us, you know, keep it Sheffield, have that as a collab. And then Aether is like an electronic artist from Canada. And Sean's been sort of working with him on and off and throwing around ideas for a few years now, and Sean's really into him, so it was cool to do Out of the Blue with him. And Out of the Blue? Don't know if he did Out of the Blue, but yeah, it was cool to collaborate with him, and it's gone out of my mind what the actual title is for the track that he's involved with. But yeah, great collaborations, and I think it just makes for an interesting record.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like you say, you shouldn't be collaborating or featuring somebody just on the pure basis that it would elevate the track. You got to collaborate because it just blends well and it works. And I feel that's what these songs do for you guys. You mentioned, of course, your third single, To the Flowers, and of course, there's the absolutely heart-wrenching but beautiful short film that you guys have done for that. My reaction is literally coming out after we wrap up this interview, and I just want to commend you guys on that. It was incredibly so well put together, and not only from your perspective as the band and the song, but also the actors that you've chosen to be in that video. How did you guys come up with that concept, and how did you execute it?
I think it's a bit strange nowadays because a lot of content, if you like, is consumed, on platforms that you might feel it doesn't really warrant doing like a full movie for.
Mm-hmm.
But doing something a bit more viral that'll show people snippets of the vid or whatever that might be, and it can be quite strange sometimes to land on the best idea. But just I think as soon as we all sort of sat down as a band and listened to the song, it just felt like it needed more than that, more than just a standard video or a bit of a viral push. So yeah, our bass player Aaron's been working on his videography skills, if you like,
Mm-hmm.
for a while now, and he's really really good at it. So for us, we're self-managed now. All the artwork's done in-house, and all the single videos have been done in-house as well. And it felt like the right way to go. Aaron's an incredible filmmaker. The song had such a deep emotion to it. It felt like it comes from a real place of the juxtapositions that the emotions go through.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, let's just do a short film. And we all, While She Sleeps loves a project. We get stuck in and we all get involved. And yeah, I think it's good. I think it's connecting with people. There's a lot of people online like reacting to it, a lot of which have not necessarily heard our band before. And I kind of feel like people nowadays as well, like they find it really easy to see through stuff, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
quick vid or the thought process is not. I think people just appreciate the hard work that's gone into something like this, really. And I think that's showing in the reactions that we're getting, and people just sort of, like I say, commending us on the effort that we've put behind our music and our visuals. So it's really nice, and I think it has a potential to be a huge song for the band, and we'll just see what happens when we play it live. But yeah, really enjoyed the creation of that, and Aaron did a great job on the video, and yeah, it's a real heavy song.
Yeah, it's a heavy song, and I mean, I'm getting like goosebumps on my body hearing you talk about it, just because it did affect me that much. Not only the song itself, but just the storyline through the whole thing, because it shows real life. It shows that rawness of
Yeah,
life, and sometimes we need that. We need to see that, and we, like I said earlier, and to know that we're not alone in what we're feeling. And I think, yeah, you guys did amazing with that video. It's heartbreaking to watch, but it was so beautifully done. So yeah.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I think like for a lot of this record, the difference in emotion sometimes is very apparent. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's pretty heavy, other times it's like kind of hits you in the feels, and I think that is just representative of how real life is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what people have to go through, sort of day to day, or you could have the best day ever today, tomorrow you don't know what's waiting for you. So
Right.
yeah, I think that I've been saying that the album feels like it's trying to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
think that's sort of understanding and realizing that we're all going to come across these situations that we have to navigate through at some point, and it's the way that you kind of prevail through that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like you say, like we just that's why personally I try and take each day as it comes, because you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and also tomorrow may never come. You don't know. Life is so fleeting, and I think it's important to delve into those topics and show the harshness and the reality that life can be, and you've done that extremely flawlessly in that music video. So I just
Thank you so much.
even now, it's just it was so breathtaking, and I just love the effort that you guys put into it. So, you guys are doing a strip back tour starting in April around the UK. What made you want to like strip things back?
I think that, you know, as the band grows, we're sort of moving into, you know, big festival spaces, arena size rooms, and I think that we've always been a band that likes going back to sort of grassroots venues and
Mm-hmm.
supporting that side of things, as well as sort of playing the bigger shows. So, you know, I think it's nice when you can sort of respect the people that respect your band and your music, in a way that feels a bit more personal. Um, so yeah, we just wanted to strip it back, do some like more chill music,
Mm-hmm.
dive into that a little bit. You know, recording a full record can be quite tough. So, you know, there will be a tour announcement coming, obviously for a bigger run of shows. But for the album release, we thought it might be nice to sort of do a bit of a Q&A and strip it back and just have a bit of a chill time with the people at those shows. So yeah, it's just a nice way of doing things and connecting with our fans at a sort of lower level, if you like more up close and personal.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that idea. I love because to me, like a smaller show definitely feels more intimate compared to obviously a festival where you can't really get up and close to the audience as you
Yeah,
would at a smaller
yeah,
venue. But of course, you know, playing those big shows is incredible as well. So I love that you guys are stripping it back for the album release. I think it's a different way to celebrate the album because you guys have been working on it for however many months, years, and now it's finally coming out, and you're like, what can we do that's different? And I love that. So I'm not
yeah.
going to keep you much longer, Loz. I appreciate your time. Do you have any last words for people watching this interview? Just of
Yeah,
thanks or...
yeah, for sure. Thanks for your time on the interview. I'd just like to say for anyone out there that's listening to this or reading it or whatever, you know, like, we don't take the support that we have from people for granted in any way. We're very humbled by what we've been able to achieve as a band. I hope that, you know, our fan base loves Self Hell. We put a lot of time and effort into that. And yeah, it comes out on the 29th of March. Yeah, it's available on vinyls. We have them already landed, so it's not like there's going to be any delays like there's been for a lot of artists and bands over the past couple of years. So yeah, if you want to get a copy, do it. And we'll hopefully see you on the road playing some new songs from our new album, Self Hell.
Yeah, well, Loz, I appreciate your time. Of course, everybody, I will leave While She Sleeps links down in the description of this video. Also, that pre-order link that you can go ahead and order the album Self Hell right now. Thank you so much, Loz, for taking the time out of your busy day to come and chat with me on the channel. I appreciate you.
No problem at all. Thanks for your time. Peace
Bye,
out.
guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.